got a chance to make a throw like he does at the end, it's you see that throw, but I can't tell you how many hours and hours and hours and hours and hours that he's put in and that Reed has put in to make a play like that. I mean, they've got great chemistry, and those things don't happen by accident. So you get that opportunity, and they were able to execute because they've done it so many times just right out here every day in practice.
Yeah, the timing was perfect and just well executed. I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. It was just, like you said earlier, kind of like a scene out of a movie, Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Coach, again, you distribute the ball to many receivers. Carson Winters had one big catch for 56 yards and a touchdown, but he did go out in the second quarter with an injury there. Anything to report on Winters' injury?
Yeah. Well, he got hit on a call that was penalized for targeting, and was down and when he came out of the game with with a concussion. So, but he's doing good. We went and saw him Friday. He was home, and went and saw him, and he's doing good. We went over and he got a picture with the Gold Football, and he's doing good. We're happy. I know a lot of people were concerned. We went down, and particularly with his story, but yeah, he's okay.
Well, that's good to hear for Jag Nation. Reed Touchstone ends up getting the catch there at the end. Had 2 touchdowns, 6 catches, 59 yards. Parker Clark, 10 receptions, 96 yards, and then. Just a great distribution of the ball. Pierce had 1 catch, actually 5 catches out of the backfield, 54 yards. Reese Carter, 3 catches, and Caden Wood 1. Just a good distribution of the ball. It's really hard for the defense to key in on just 1 or 2 receivers when you're distributing the ball like Blake Short's been doing.
Yeah, those guys did a good job getting open. Blake built his read progression, and then it's when those guys are making plays, it makes us pretty potent offensively.
Well, Coach, no Saturdays. You spend primarily breaking down the film with the players, and then obviously looking at film with the coaches on Duncanville. What are some of the things you saw, some tendencies you try to improve each and every week, but that the Jags need to do from the film you saw from Friday night's game, working into the practice schedule this week, some things to improve on?
Yeah, always things to improve upon. As good as our receivers were, now we had a couple of drop balls. Get opportunities to make some plays. You got to do that. Give up a couple of big pass plays where, again, we do some different things. And Keller's very good offense. They have a very good scheme, and when you have a quarterback that is a dual threat guy with their read game. And very capable receivers and a back like they have. I think I mentioned last week they were a lot like us in a lot of respects. But, you got to do some different things defensively to try to mix it up and keep them from getting set in on their reads. And we were able to do that a few times. But we did have a couple, particularly on the go-ahead touchdown, a coverage breakdown that we just, we can't have. And we take a lot of pride on execution and being in the right place. And we got out of position the other night a couple times where it hurts. I mean, those guys that you have such a desire to make a play and, which is good. Now we just got to do that within the framework of executing within our scheme. But, I still think that we're capable of playing, even better football, and it'd be a great time to do it this Saturday.
Well, Coach, Duncanville doesn't score a lot of points. They bring in their quarterback, Jaquindon Jackson, 1,251 yards on the season, 18 TDs, 5 interceptions, but he also gets it done on the ground, 7 TDs, averaging 11 yards a carry. He's going to be a key player to stop, along with Roderick Daniels, the wide receiver, 514 yards and 6 TDs. But more importantly, and I had to double-check this about 3 times, Coach, their defense is only allowing 4 points per game. So the keys to this matchup here at AT&T Stadium might be, how does your offense match up against their defense?
Yeah, that's an accurate stat on their defense. I think they've given up, I think it's 47 points in 11 games this year. So, they're outstanding, and rightfully so. They're very well coached. Coach Samples, he was at Skyline when I was at MacArthur, and we played each other in a district, and got a lot of respect for the job that he does. Their quarterback's a great player. Defensively, they pin their ears back and come and get you. So we're really going to have to utilize our strength as an offense and distribute the ball. And it still comes down to being able to run the football. And you mentioned Pierce earlier, but when he can chew up some yards on the ground, it opens up everything else. Now, there's things defensively that teams try to do to limit that, and a lot of it comes down to basically box numbers. And the simplest way I can put it is that we use 4 wide receivers. So when you add our quarterback and running back, then that's 5 offensive linemen. If they've got people sometimes put 6 or 7 people in the box, well, if you got 5 offensive linemen, quarterback, and running back with 7 people in the box, that's 7 on 7. Well, now that's 4 on 4 receivers and defensive backs, and when you get those matchups, our receivers have got to win those matchups, and teams have to, if they're able to do that, we can start getting people out of the box, and that opens up the run game for Pierce, and so that's kind of a simple formula, and there's a lot of different ways that we do that through some motions and play action game and just different things like that. But we've got to be able to run the football, and we've got to give Blake time to throw, and those 2 things I think are keys to moving the ball against a very tough defense. We've watched film on them yesterday. We're watching film on them today, putting a game plan together on what we feel like we need to do. But I do have a lot of confidence in our guys, and I do think that with their schedule, with our schedule, that we've kind of been in some games where obviously going down to the wire and go-ahead touchdown with 10 seconds left to go in the game. I think the Louisville game, 12 seconds left to go in the game. Of course, the Marcus game came up on the wrong end of that. But we've been in some games where, we're just fighting to the very end. And they've been a lot of games where, where that necessarily hasn't been the case. So we got to get them to play in a game that they haven't been accustomed to. And we feel like, when you get a second round playoffs, everybody is good. We're a good football team. And I think we're going to do some things and have some things that they haven't seen in the schedule that they played this year. So if we can take advantage of that, then we're going to be able to give ourselves a chance.
Well, Coach, the Jaguars travel to AT&T Stadium on Saturday, one of the most recognizable stadiums in the world. There'll be Geyer starts off at the noon game, Geyer versus Cedar Hill. So there'll already be probably 12, 15,000 fans in AT&T Stadium. Then the Flower Mound and Duncanville fans will start to roll in there probably before that game's over. So your kids will walk into that stadium probably with 20-plus thousand fans in the stands. Do you think that'll be any intimidation, or you think they'll just relish the moment and that'll just add that extra adrenaline? Have you started talking to players at all about what to expect there in Jerry's house?
Yeah, it'll be exciting, and I think when you get there, the thing about the time slot that we have, 3:30 on Saturday, is good. We'll get there early where there'll be a game going on beforehand, so they'll get a chance to get a feel for it there early. When I was at MacArthur, we were fortunate to be able to play there a few times, and I think once you get there and kind of get the oohs and ahs out there in pregame, once you get started, you're pretty locked in to playing a football game, and that adrenaline and excitement just kind of adds to the experience of it. It is a great experience, a cool place to play. They'll remember it for the rest of their lives, and but you do have to get them ready. Just in anticipation of the big guys when you get over there. You pull up on the bus and you head over that little ramp on 360. You can see it in the distance, and then there's you hear a pin drop on the bus because they're staring out the window.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I understand they got an opportunity to go play there, so it's really fun, and I'm glad that our team and our fans, you talk about the cheerleaders getting to cheer there, and the drill team, the band getting to perform. It's just a great experience for everyone, and I'm proud that we have the opportunity to do it. And we'll talk during the week about just being proactive about some of the experience and some emotions they're going to be feeling walking into it. But it's a 100-yard field on which is just like we play and practice on every day. And once the ball gets kicked off, you're out there playing football. And so a lot of that other stuff really just becomes, you put blinders on and you focus on doing the things that you need to do to go win a game.
Well, great point. The entire student body, the entire Flower Mound community can relish in this opportunity here on Saturday. The good news is also, Coach, you get an extra day to prepare and practice. Going into round 2 versus Duncanville this week, anything different you'll work on this week with the extra day than you normally would in a normal Friday night game?
Well, it is a different. The biggest difference we're playing on Saturday. So normally we practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, walk through on Thursday, and then play the game on Friday. Well, now that's going to shift now to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow we won't practice. We're going to spend extra time watching film and get that preliminary game plan on, just starting getting some of the picture in their head of their opponent and start putting a face to a name and getting familiarized with them. We like that because now it gives us an extra day before we go out on that Monday practice, which is when we do all of our game plan install. So I feel like that's going to get us a little bit ahead of the game before that Monday practice to get some film on them, give us an extra day rest, and then go from there. That's really the biggest difference. As far as our approach, it's business as usual in terms of going out and working what we need to work and continue to get 1 week better.
Well, Coach, any special game day prep for the fans? I know one thing for AT&T Stadium, and there'll be more information posted on the webpage and the Jaguar Facebook page, but ladies, you have to come in there with a clear plastic bag as your purse. I know that. No outside food or beverage, obviously, in the stadium. Any other news that you know of this early here on a Sunday afternoon that you can share with the fan base?
I know that our athletic director is picking up some informational packet, and we've had a few emails go out and kind of working on some of the logistics. Obviously, just we'll get word out on parking and what side of the stadium we're going to be on. Bush Club, I think, is probably working on any kind of other arrangements. We have a meeting tomorrow, so any fans that want to encourage you to be involved in the Booster Club, and we'll have our Monday night meetings and get some more info. We feel like we'll have some more info by that time. But as info comes out, we're going to get it posted on our Facebook page and web page and Twitter page that our Booster Club sends out. So just check that for information that comes out regarding tickets and parking and any other logistics that'll be involved with the game.
Well, Jag Nation, 3 p.m. Saturday at AT&T Stadium, Flower Mound Jaguars versus Duncanville. For Coach Brian Basil, I'm John Piper. Thank you so much for tuning in.